Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to one of my replays. We're here at Tier 6, and we're in an American tank. Now, some of you may have actually seen this replay before, because Fiora was kind enough to show it on her channel a little while back, but it was a good game, it was damn fun to play, and so I thought, I've eventually gotten around to showing it myself and giving my perspective on the game. So, I was platooned up with British being Captain Indigo for a while from the SIG clan. Indigo had to clear off for a short while. Real life got in the way. I know, how inconsiderate. And that left myself and British. And British jumped into his Fury. That's the special tank that came out with the film of the same name. It's basically a slightly modified EZ8 Sherman. I don't own a Fury, but I do own an EZ8 Sherman, so I jumped into that. This is one of my favourite tanks in the game. This is the Tier 6 American medium tank. Not the one that's the jumbo with all the armour, it's the other one, and ooh, that looked like an artillery shell. Anyway, we're here on, is it Pearl River or something? Pearl River. And we've come up to this central spot. We're a couple of top tier tanks, so basically we're going to try and beat the snot out of the enemy team. The enemy team only have a single heavy tank, and ooh, there's our counterpart, the Jumbo Sherman. Oh dear. Now that guy basically trades in the mobility of the EZ8 for a bit of extra hull armour and the option of mounting the stock turret, which has a lot of armour. Now, interesting engagement time. A lot of the time when you ask people about the EZ8 Sherman, they'll tell you it's a Gimp's Cromwell. These people are wrong, the two tanks play very differently. So there's the Cromwell, British Tier 6 medium tank, very fast, has a very good gun, with 145 average penetration and 135 average damage, something like that. 75mm gun. We're in the Sherman. We have a 76mm gun, we have 115 average damage and 128 penetration. However, the accuracy of the Sherman on the move is much better, it gets much better bloom values on the gun, and it can mount a vertical stabilizer, further improving your accuracy on the move. This means that the Sherman is much better at those sort of peekaboo type engagements where you run forward, shoot and pull back, as you're going to see here. One shot into the Cromwell. Oh look, another Cromwell. Two shots into a Cromwell. Three shots into a Cromwell. Four shots into those Cromwells for one taken in return. In that sort of engagement, Cromwell is just completely outclassed by the Sherman. Sherman's one of those tanks that you can't judge it based purely upon the garage stats, and there's a jumbo. I'm on voice comms to British. We're going to gank this guy. Now it's worth pointing out, I don't use XVM. British does. Ooh, there's artillery. And British, well, basically he said the win chance for this game was decidedly not very good. So we had to... I knew that we were going to have to play relatively aggressively in order to try and make this game a win. And basically I was just thinking, well, screw the win chance, you know. Just keep firing, just keep shooting, do what we can. Try and pull a win out of the bag, which is what I do in every game. Anyway, T-34 has actually snuck around behind us. The other flank is not looking too clever. Put a shot into him. I've lost a little bit of health. That one just goes into my tracks. And again, this guy is completely outclassed by a Sherman in this sort of engagement, which is kind of funny. And he's dead. There we go, kill number 2. So far we've nailed a Sherman Jumbo and a T-34. And, oh dear, the other flank has fallen. So, yeah, what are we going to do about this? Alright. Just lost our Su-85I and our KV-85. British went over to try and deal with the A-20 and some of their tank destroyers, but he lost a lot of health for his trouble. 5-8. So he's now a 1 or 2 shot for our opponents, depending on who actually shoots at him. I'm on about half health, give or take, slightly less than. So we don't have a vast amount of health between us, but we can still do some good work. The enemy team has started capping, which is, at this point, probably a terrible idea, because all it does is advertise where at least one of your tanks are. Hello, Mr. Chaffee. Kill number 3. So we know that they have a tank, now 2 tanks, in the capture circle. Now, I don't use optics on my Sherman. Maybe I should, but I don't, because I just wanted to try out vents, basically. I wanted to make the rate of fire on this gun as good as possible. And now I'm just going to start shooting up this KV-85 with the rate of fire on this gun. I mean, this, with vents and a gun rammer, a 100% crew, this gun reloads in, might be a shade under 3 seconds, I can't quite remember, but the reload is pretty good. And I have the ammo count to take some blind shots here. I'm just predicting where I think he's probably driving. But they are still capping our base. We know there is a second guy in the capture circle, VK. Now, at the time when I was doing this, oh, there we go, there's the base reset. My mission was to kill X number of medium tanks, but I didn't. I could have loaded APCR to try and get the penetration, try and get the kill on that VK, but I didn't because British told me that he had a shot, and so screw it. So now it's just the three of us, 3 American tanks, T1 Heavy, British in his Fury, and me in my Sherman, versus 6 enemies. We are outnumbered 3-1. This is not looking particularly good, is it? Anyway, we know where that Hellcat is. Ooh, someone just put a round into British. So either the Hellcat's using the stock gun, or that was a shot from someone like the Crusader, or the Hetzer. Now, the Crusader was last spotted at about D5, so it's unlikely to be the Crusader. It might be the Hetzer, or as I say, the Hellcat might be using the stock gun. Looks like the 90mm. And I managed to kill the Hellcat, but, yeah, Hetzer, as I said, takes out British. There are 5 of them, and there are only 2 of us now. Crusader is moving forwards, T1 Heavy is working the Crusader over, T1 Heavy nails the Crusader. 4 of them, 2 of us, and holy Christ, that's an SU-100. He has fired. I have a little bit of time. I put 1 shot into him. I could probably have risked another shot, but honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know what the reload of an SU-100 is, and I wasn't exactly sure what gun he was using. You can see there from the muzzle brake, he's using the 122mm, so I probably could have risked another shot. But at the time, I didn't know what gun he was using, so I just played it safe. Because I really don't want to be losing health at this point. We need to conserve our health. We also need to be vaguely aggressive in order to make them die, so this is a kind of awkward situation. So, we know where the SU-100 is, we know where the Hetzer and the Bishop were last spotted. That Nashorn has not yet cropped up, however, which is a little bit awkward. T1 Heavy is engaging his brain, which is nice to see, and he's actually coming up into this central map region. This means that between us we've got the T1 Heavy on one side and me on the other. Hetzer has been spotted. He's going to try and shoot the T1 in the rear, so I try and put shots into this guy to stop that happening. 1 round in, 2. Can I pick up the kill? There we go. Managed to avenge British, and oh Christ, that SU-100 just took all the health off that T1 Heavy. And the Bishop finishes him off. So I was trying to keep that T1 Heavy alive by taking out the Hetzer in his rear. Alas, I wasn't able to, as he died anyway, and oh Christ, and oh, I just bounced on an SU-100. He's using the big gun, and oh god. Okay, there's 2 of them left. Bishop, I have no idea what this guy is doing. Has he just disconnected or something? Honestly don't know. 1 more shot. There we go. I mean, he got the kill on the T1 Heavy, so he must have been doing something. Now, what I'm thinking here, there's just the Nashorn left. He hasn't been spotted yet, so there's a really good chance he's camping the enemy base, basically. So I'm trying to think what the best way to approach this is. I was originally going to go around through the Valley of Death at B8, C9, but then I kind of think about it. The problem with going through the Valley of Death is that as you approach the enemy base from that direction, there's basically a killing zone between B3 and sort of A7. You're going through water, you're exposed, you're slow, you're vulnerable, you're probably dead. So I kind of double think a bit, and I'm dithering here because I really don't know this bit of the map very well. I don't know where is or is not safe to drop down. I mean, what I'm thinking of doing at the moment is going to about J6 and trying to work my way through those wooded areas sort of thing, along the 1 and 2 lines to get to the enemy base, because then I think I'm exposing myself to less fire, or likely exposing myself to less fire. Damage my track on the way down, but it's not a big issue. Now, these... I was going down these hills because I thought that it'd be a bit quicker than going through the middle and all that jazz, but as it turns out, the Nashorns come to me. Now, That shot misses, which is kind of unfortunate. Nashorn gets an 88mm gun. I load high explosive because his superstructure sucks. Alas, I miss. That shot also misses. And he puts a shot in, and I think, okay, I've got time to put in some shots now. But he puts another round in, and at this point I realise he's not using the top gun. He's using the 75mm gun. Oh. So I lost about 260 odd health there. For no return. So this is bad. I am now a one shot for this Nashorn, and he is on full health. This is not a good situation. There he is. I know he's using the stock gun, which is actually bad for me. It means that I can't abuse this rate of fire quite so much. I load high explosive because if he comes over that ridge, I want to stand the best possible chance of tracking him as he comes over. That's my logic. In the end, I go for the shot into the superstructure instead. Oh, I missed that shot. Move around. Oh, good lord. Nashorn misses his shot, and this is a sweet feeling. That was a very, very sweet feeling. Certainly didn't play that game perfectly, dithered about toward the end, and kind of flubbed the engagement against the Nashorn, and frankly I was a little bit lucky. I was also a little bit lucky against the SU-100, but there we go. As it turns out, we managed to pull a win out of that, somehow. Let's go and have a look at the post-battle results. So, perhaps unsurprisingly, that was an ace tanker game. Fire for Effect, Duelist, Bruiser, Hand of God, that's not an award you get very much in a Sherman. Defender, High Caliber, Top Gun, and a Radley Walters medal. That's my second only my second Radley Walters medal in, I think at the time I played this, it was probably something like 19,000 games. Close as damn it, 20,000 games. None come along for ages, and then two come along in relatively quick succession. What are you going to do? Turned out that was 2 points shy of 3,500 damage in a tier 6 tank that does 115 average damage per shot. Yeah, I fired a lot of shots. 8 kills for that Radley Walters medal and 1,614 base experience. You can see from the rest of our team, and I think I actually totaled it up at the time, I think that damage total, it was about the same as the rest of our team combined. Can't quite remember. It was around that region. Yeah, commiserations to the enemy SU-100 and Nashorn. They put in a good amount of damage. I mean, frankly, if you look at the damage counts from each team, the only real differences were that the enemy had two guys who managed over 1,000 damage, and I managed over 3,000 damage. So yeah, that came down as a bit of a buttock clencher. 46 shots fired, again, not very often that you say that. 38 hits and 33 penetrations. A lot of those shots were snapshots, so make of that what you will. For that damage count, 1,100 of that damage was from a distance of more than 300 meters, so most of it was at relatively close range. I received 8 hits, of which 3 bounced, or 3 didn't penetrate, which is also quite unusual in the Sherman, and 1 hit as a result of splash. 200 damage blocked by armor, spotted 2 enemy tanks, damaged 12, killed 8, 242 assistance damage, and all of the base defense points. Travelling just over 2.5 kilometers. With a premium account, that was a 48,000 credit profit, and because it was a ×3 experience event at the time, that was 7,263 XP. I'm not grinding the Sherman, so that all went into my crew. Without a premium account, that would have still been basically a 30,000 credit profit and 4,842 experience. So, a pretty nice game, whichever way you look at it, and one that I was quite proud of. I really do like the Easy 8 Sherman, so the fact that I got my second Radley Walters medal in it, I thought was quite fitting. I was very happy with that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. I certainly enjoyed playing it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.